for the entire month of Elul, Yona's son and Rachel Wolf of Highland Park, New Jersey, for dedicating in loving memory of Rachel's mother, Chaya Bas Moshe Zichron Livracha. We hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah, Shem will have an Aliyah and the family in Nechama. And to thank Ben Goldberg, who has dedicated all of the Shiurim and Drashos of Chodesh Elul in memory of his parents, Avram ben Asher Pinchas, Fega Rezel Bas Zelig. We hope that in the merit of our Talmud Torah, the Neshamos will have an Aliyah and the family in Nechama. And I will say with that, let's begin. So we just started the brand new parak yesterday, which introduced us to the world of Dam. Very underrated, by the way, right? The world of Dam, right? So remember again, the Mishnah began by telling us that halacha l'maisa, what type of blood are you chayav for consuming? What type of blood are you not chayav for consuming? So we're going to go through that list again today, but what I want to highlight is the Braisa. So the Braisa gives us a principle, right? And the principle ultimately is what type of blood. Remember again, the pasuk we're dealing with over here is Chol dam lo sochlu b'chol moshosechem la'of v'la behema. Pasuk says you shall not consume blood in all of your moshosechem, in all of your domiciles, habitations, la'of ula behema, for the bird and for the animals. If you remember again, the Gemara made a drasha. What was the drasha? That in order to be the type of blood which is prohibited, you must go ahead and conform to the following details. You must come from something that is able to contract tumakala, tumachamura. Tumakala means tumas ochlin, ritual impurity from food. Tumachamura, which is tumas nevela, right? The tumah of a carcass. And ultimately, again, it has a shem basar. I should say one more thing. Yeshban isser v'heter. It has a permitted state and a prohibited state, i.e. it's prohibited before shchita, permitted after shchita, and it's a type of basar. If you conform to these four criteria, so again, tumakala, tumachamura, heter v'isser, right? So tumas ochlin, tumas nevela, permitted after shchita, prohibited before shchita, permitted after shchita, and it's called basar, it's called meat. Then ultimately, again, halacha l'maisa, your blood or the blood of that item will be prohibited biblically. So I'll say, obviously, what's excluded from this, what we started with yesterday, what's excluded from this is human blood. So we're going to talk a bit more about human blood towards the end of this year today, but obviously human blood is going to be excluded from this because it doesn't conform to many of the four criteria. It's certainly not, there's no isser v'heter. It's not like human beings are permitted after shchita, prohibited before shchita, presumably so that human beings do not have tumas ochlin. So we're going to get through all of that. Top of Chaf Aleph. Otzi dam shratzim shidmem tumachamura. Furthermore, again, I'm going to exclude the blood of shratzim, right? The sheretz, creepy, crawly things, because they don't have tumachamura. In other words, both say when a sheretz dies, a sheretz does not convey tumas nevela. Otzi dam beitzim. Furthermore, again, blood found in eggs. I'm also going to go ahead and exclude she'ein min basar, because eggs are not a form of meat. Dam dogim, dam chagavim, shekula heter. Furthermore, again, I will say in general, fish and grasshoppers, which are unique in that they are amongst the only living beings where the entire entity is permitted. I was about to say, when it comes to a fish, you could eat, right? You could literally grab a fish. We learned this in Chulin. You could grab a fish out of the water, just take a bite, and eat it head to toe, and there's no part of the fish that halacha l'maisa is prohibited. Same thing with grasshoppers. La'ofa l'behema. So we'll say, so fine. So therefore, that's the end of that drasha. That's the end of that brisa. La'ofa l'behema. So remember, the pasuk says for the bird and for the animals. So we'll say, remember, what's intriguing about the pasuk is, it says, v'chol dam lo sochlu. You can't eat any blood. La'ofa l'behema. For the bird and for the behema. So says the Gemara, la'ofa l'behema. Now says Rashi, third line down from the top, la'ofa l'behema la'manem rushnehem sharem echma yisi dam kein aprat. So we'll say, why do I need both oaf and behema? The pasuk had just said one of those things, and from the one that it mentioned, I could have built out this construct. Says the Gemara, watch this. I ma'of shein bo kilayim. Because ultimately, again, if it would have just said a bird, pasuk would have just mentioned the prohibition of blood by the bird. So I would have said what? Shein bo kilayim. A bird is not subject to kilayim. Now, both say we're going to see later on in the Gemara what exactly that means. I'll give you a little coming attractions. What it means is, well, we'll see. Kilayim, right? Bird is not subject to forbidden mixtures. So Talmud Lomar. So therefore, both say I would have just said bird, right? Oaf. I would have thought it's only entities that are not subject to kilayim that have a prohibition of blood. Talmud Lomar lebehema. Therefore, the pasuk says for the behema as well to teach me what? That halacha lemaisa, that ultimately a behema has an isser of dam as well. Ima behema she'ina be'em ala abanim. So also when it comes to behema, remember again, behema itself has no prohibition of eim ala abanim, which means what? If obviously this is shiluach hakein, this week's parsha, right? So also remember again, you come to a nest, you want the eggs, you have to send away the mother before taking the eggs. Behema has no such concept like that, right? If you want, you can't remember. What does behema have? Excellent. Osovi espino, right? You can't shech the mother and the child on the same day. But Lamai said there's no din of like shiluach ha'im by an animal. So if I would have just said behema, I would have said ima behema she'enu be'im alabanim af of she'enu be'im alabanim. I might have thought that if it just said behema, so the isser of dam only applies to animals that do not have an obligation of shiluach hakein. But birds which do have an obligation of shiluach hakein maybe are not subject to the laws of dam. Talmud lomar the ofel behema. Therefore, we'll say the pasuk felt it necessary when talking about the prohibition of blood to include both oaf and behema. Beautiful. Ve'ema kol dam klal oaf ubehema prat klalu prat ein bechal al mashu prat. So we'll say, but why don't I sound the pasuk like this? Pasuk says kol dam. Kol dam is a klal. Then it says oaf ubehema is a prat. Whenever you have a klal and a prat, ein bichlal ela masha beprat. The klal itself is defined by the parameters of the prat. So what would that mean for our purposes over here? Ofa behema in midiachrin alo. Both say in this context, what that would tell me is as follows: that ultimately, again, the prat of ofen behema defines the klal of the chol dam, and therefore again tells that the prohibition of blood only applies to oaf and behema. In other words, both say that's the simplest drasha you can make. And again, I could sidestep all of these other drashas, the 4 different criteria. Just simple: klal uprat, klal kol dam. Prat ofa behema, ein bichlal alamasha beprat. Therefore, the klal of kol dam lo sochelu only applies to ofen behema. Easy. To which the Gemara says, here's the problem: nefesh asher tochal kol dam chazer v'kalal. Well, so here's the problem. The problem is there is another pasuk, and what does the pasuk say? Kol nefesh asher tochal kol dam v'nichrasa hanefesh ahi me'ameha. The pasuk says any person who eats blood is subject to karis. So there is another klal. So in fact, it is not a klal uprat. Instead, what is it? A klal uprat uklal. Nefesh asher tochal kol dam chazer v'kalal klal uprat uklal. Oh, so what's the halacha of the klal uprat uklal? Iyatadan ela ke'ena prat. I will say ultimately again, when you have a klal uprat uklal, so ultimately what that tells me is that the construct that is created by the klal, its parameters are defined by the prat. So we'll say, so again, v'halo dami klala basra l'kol hakam. So that's a technical question. Before we get to what the klalu pratu klal is, isn't there a bigger problem? In order to make a klalu pratu klal, the 2 bookend klals have to go ahead and resemble each other. In this case over here, the 2 bookend klals don't resemble each other. How so? Klala kama lav, klala kama lav, klala basra karis. We'll say very simply, the first pasuk of a chol dam lo sochelu is a lav. The second klal of kol nefesh asher sochal kol dam v'nichrasa is kares. In general, again, we'll say this is just klalu pratu klal 101, right? The 2 klals, the 2 bookends, have to be halachically the same. If one klal is a lav and one klal is a kares, it doesn't work. To which the Gemara says, Hai Rabbi Shmuel, klali uprati darshina min hadin gavna. Va'af al gav delo dami klalabas v'lekolakam. So we'll say, okay, so it happens to be we stumbled upon a fundamental yesodistic machlokes by klalu pratu klal. Some require the 2 klals, the bookends, to resemble each other. Others do not. It happens to be that the author of this previous brisa is Tana de Rabbi Shmuel. Tana de Rabbi Shmuel holds that you can make a klalu pratu klal even when the 2 klals are a bit different. Amar klal upratu klal. So we'll say, so now that we kind of took care of that, let's talk about what does the actual klal upratu klal teach me. So Amar klal upratu klal iyatadan ela ke'ena prat. So we'll say when you have a klal upratu klal, so the klal itself is defined. We'll say now here's the difference. When you have a klal uprat, right, general statement, a limiting statement, so the way that is darshan is ein bichlal ela masha beprat. In that case, the klal is exclusively defined by the parameters of the prat. When you have a klal, so therefore again, when we just thought it was a klalu prat, pasuk says v'chol dam lo sochelu. That's the klal. Ofu behema is the prat, and the prat tells me that what does kol dam lo sochelu apply to? Only ofen behema. That's it. Discussion over. When you have a klalu prat to klal, now it's something different. Now I know that I have to make a more general statement or a more general construct, but the general construct is defined by the details of the prat, not limited to the details of the prat, but shaped and defined by the details of the prat. It's really quite interesting. So let's analyze this. Ma prat mufurash davar sheishbo tuma kala v'tuma chamura. So we'll say, so what's unique about the prat mentioned over here? What's unique about ofen behema? See, here we go. Here, ofen behema possess the following qualities. Number one, they have tumakala and tumachamura. Remember again, let's go through this. Tumakala is what? Tumas ochlin, food tuma. They could contract tuma as a food item. Tumachamura, which means what? They could convey tumas nevela, carcass tuma. Okay? V'yeshba isser v'heter. Furthermore, again, they're subject to isser and heter, which means before shchita, they are aser. After shchita, they are permitted. V'yeshba hen min basar. Furthermore, again, now I want to point out, before shchita, after shchita, prohibited, permitted, doesn't necessarily mean for consumption, but what it means is that if you shecht it, it doesn't convey tumas nevela, because we're going to see the prohibition of blood doesn't only apply, of course, to kosher animals. And furthermore, again, it's called a type of flesh. Therefore, I will say this gives us the parameters, this klal patu klal gives us the parameters for the isser of dam. Af kol davar sheyishbo tumakalo v'tuma chamura, so on and so forth. Therefore, I will say anything that conforms to this criteria: number one, tumakala; number two, tuma chamura; number three, isser v'heter; number four, basar. If you conform to these four criteria, then halacha lemaisa, you are subject to the prohibition of dam. So the Gemara says, "Af kol diksani lasuyemai." So we'll say ultimately again, what now? The Brisa just said af kol. Therefore, anything else which conforms to these criteria ultimately is included in the prohibition. To which the Gemara says, what does af kol come to include? Well, this is very interesting. It comes to include the blood of a kai. Remember again, what's a kai? What's a kai? Exactly, right? A kai, right? We're not exactly sure what a kai is. It's an animal. We're just not sure if it fits into the behema category or into the chaya category. The greatest nafkamina is, two nafkaminas that we know, la halacha, chelev, right? Remember again, only a behema has an isra of chelev, a chaya does not. And interestingly enough, kisur hadam, right? Remember, when you shecht it, do you have to cover its blood or not? Kisur hadam is a din by chaya, not a din by behema. So we'll say, now watch this. Is a kai subject to the prohibition of dam? So says the Gemara last week, my kasavar, so my kasavar, ikasavar kai sveikahu, it's tzrich l'meisar sveika. We'll say now, let's analyze this. If you hold that a kai is aser also suffik, if a kai is aser, suffik beim suffik chaya, we'll say then obviously what's going to be the status of its blood? It's going to be aser, right? I'm saying it's a suffix, thank you. Right, it's going to be a suffix, right? And what? But I will say, obviously, it's a suffix doraisa, right? Obviously, if it's a suffix doraisa, of course, you're going to go l'chumra. Ela kasaver kai beria bifnei atzmu. Rather, what you have to say is what? A kai is reckoned as a separate, independent entity. It's a beria bifnei atzma. It doesn't fit into a category, and therefore, again, halacha l'maisa, the call of the price is coming to teach you that even though a kai is neither a behem, because I must remember again, this is the third possibility in kai, right? Possibility number one is that it's a behema. Possibility number two is it's a chaya, and possibility number three is that it's just something independent. So even if you hold that it's something independent, ultimately, again, it is still subject to the prohibition of dam. Ashkechan damos. Well, so now that we're on the kai, a little bit of a kai kick. So let's analyze this. So now I understand that the blood of a kai is aser. Chal bomi nalan. How do I know that the chelev of a kai is aser? Pasuk says mikol chelev. The mikol, Rabbi say, is a more inclusive phrase. Comes to include the chelev as well. of a kai. Nivlasim, I don't know that the nevela of a kai conveys tuma. Mikol nevela. Rabbi says, so again, you have these words of kol. Kol usually, the Gemara's understanding, comes to include something that you might not realize at first glance. So the Gemara's understanding that it comes to include kai in these prohibitions. Gid anasha min alan. How do I know that a kai has a prohibition of gid anasha? Interestingly enough, bekaf hayarech tal yirachmana v'ha is like kaf hayarech. It's very simple. Gid anasha is a din in the thigh. Therefore, logic would dictate any animal that has a thigh would have a prohibition ultimately of gid hanasha. Tumaso shchita minalan. We'll say, how do I know when it comes to its tuma? Namely, that it conveys tumas nevela, and that shchita takes away its tumas nevela. From where do I know that applies to kai? Svara midalachol mili Rabbi Rachmani kibehema. Tumaso shchitaso nami kibehema. I will say that's a svara. Once the Torah essentially shows me that we're treating kai like a behema in all other areas, so we're going to treat it like a behema for shchita and for nevela as well. So both sides. So that was our kai. That was our kai kind of commercial over here. Both sides just kai tangent. Now back to dam. So both sides. Remember again, what we have now is something very important. So it appears that the construct for dam is klal uprat uklal. Right? Klal number 1, kol dam, prat laofa lebehema. Klal number 2, kol nefesh asher sochal kol dam v'nichrasan nefesh. Klal uprat uklal gives me the 4 criteria for being prohibited by dam. Any animal, right? Any animal that has tumakala, tumachamura, iser veheter, and min basar, if you satisfy those 4 criteria, you are subject to the prohibition of dam. Good. Amar Mar. Oti dam halchish time sheish ben tumachamura ve'eman tumachamura. Rabbi say, now that we know the 4 criteria, I understand human blood. Human blood, Rabbi say, is not going to be subject to the biblical prohibition of dam. Why not? For the simple statement that human beings do not have, they have tumachamura, right? Rabbi say, remember, a person has tumachamura. Why? Right? Person dies. A corpse is the avi avos atuma. So a corpse is the highest form of tuma. So a corpse has a person, human being, has tumachamura. Human being doesn't have tumakala. What says we're going to see? Remember again, if human being is not a person, is not subject to tumas ochlin. So because a person, human being, a human body is not subject to tumas ochlin, therefore Allah Chalamaisa doesn't satisfy the criteria. Therefore, there's no prohibition of blood when it comes to human beings. So the Gemara says, Rumini, is that true? Is that true that people aren't subject to tumakala? But we learned, Rumini, hachotech mina adam. Well, so listen to this. If you cut off a piece of a person, or you cut off a piece of flesh from a person, so what's the halacha? Tzarich machshava vehechsher. In order to go ahead and make that piece of flesh capable of contracting tumas ochlin, it requires 2 things. Machshava, which means I have to have in mind that it's going to be treated like a food item, and hechsher. Hechsher means it comes in contact with liquid. Shabosai, Vikashilon, Machshava Lamali. But we asked the question on this, but why do I need Machshava? In other words, why do I need a mindset to go ahead and say, in other words, I have to have kavana that this piece of flesh is now going to become food? Te'aseh chaticha shel machshava. Why else are you lopping off the piece of flesh? In other words, why does it need machshava? The mice itself of taking off a piece of flesh obviously means that it's going to be used as a food item. Reish Lakish, no, here's the case. Bechotcho lekelev. Ultimately, again, where a person is cutting off a piece, it doesn't really matter whose flesh it is, whether it's your own or it's someone else's, and it's to feed it to the dog. Umachshava lekelev lav machshavahi. And I will say, ultimately, again, cutting off a piece of flesh to feed it to a dog is not enough of a machshava in order to render it fit to be makabel tumas ochlin. In order for something to become tumas ochlin, ultimately, again, it has to be set aside, or it has to be used for human purposes. If it's going to be fed to a dog, that is not enough of a machshava, of a mindset, to allow it to contract tumas ochlin. Velo, is that true? V'hatnan klal amra b'tuma. We had a klal when it came to tuma. Kolam yuchal le'echol adam tamei ad she'if some achilas kelev. We'll say an interesting klal that the halacha is, when it comes to the laws of tuma, anything that is fit for human consumption retains its food identity and therefore its ability to contract tuma until it is no longer fit for consumption by a dog. So we'll say, so you see from here that even if something is fit for consumption by a dog, it still contracts tumas ochlin. So therefore, in a case ultimately where a person cuts off a piece of flesh, feeds it to a dog, that should be enough of a machshava ultimately again to allow it to contract tumas ochlin. To which the Gemara says, no, wrong direction. Hahu la'asuke tuma minei. We'll say that's discussing when a food item loses its identity as a food item and therefore can no longer contract tumas ochlin. We'll say if something was fit for human consumption and therefore subject to the laws of tumas ochlin, it retains its identity as a food item until the point of what? Until the point that it is no longer fit for consumption by a dog. Hacha la'achuse le tuma. We'll say here we're talking about at what point in time does an item begin to be able to contract tuma. I chazi la'adam, chazi la'kelev. I lo chazi la'adam, lo chazi la'kelev. So I'll say this is actually very interesting. So when it comes ultimately again to kind of like your initiation or you're passing the threshold into the realm of tumas ochlin, so to be considered a type of food item which could contract tuma, so halacha l'maisa, you have to be fit for human consumption. That's what gets you over the threshold. Once you're over the threshold, you don't lose that designation as long as what? As long as you're fit for canine consumption, right? So to pass the threshold, you have to be fit for human consumption. But you don't lose the identity of food as a food item, and therefore, again, your ability to contract tumas ochlin as long as you are fit for canine consumption. To which the Gemara says, Mikol makom katani machshava, o machshava lo tuma kali. So we'll say, without getting too wrapped up in all of the halachas of tum and taira, one thing is clear, which is what? What do you see from here? That human flesh does have the ability to contract tumas ochlin. That's clear from Rabbi, right? So again, the fact that leaving that aside, the point from this discussion, you see that halacha l'maisa, human flesh can contract tumas ochlin. So if that's the case, that human flesh can contract tumas ochlin, why is it not subject to the prohibition of dam? Here we go. Dikavosa gabe behema la'achar misa. Ultimately, the Gemara says corresponding to this would be by a behema. I'm sorry, did I just skip here? Yeah. So we'll say this is true ultimately again when the person is alive. We'll say, so what it means is like this. While it might be true, although we're going to discuss this more, whether or not a human flesh can contract tumas ochlin, that may be true. But we'll say, but when is that true? Only true when a human being is alive. Once a person is dead, ultimately, again, there is no longer any type of tumas ochlin, no longer any type of tuma kala, only tuma chamura. Since a corpse only has the capacity for tuma chamura and not tuma kala, therefore halacha l'maisa, it doesn't meet the criteria of prohibition of dam. Contrast this to kavasa gabe behema. Contrast this with the behema. So the Gemara says la'achar misa. I basar metame tuma chamura, v'idam metame tuma chamura. But one second, by behema also, right? Ultimately, again, after the animal is slaughtered, so if it's meat, it would convey tuma chamura, which is tumas nevela. If it's blood, it conveys tuma chamura as well. This nan dam nevela. So we'll say, what is it when it comes to the dam of a nevela? Beis Shammai mitarin and Beis Hillel mitamin. Beis Shammai says ultimately again the dam of nevela is tar, doesn't convey any type of tuma, and Beis Hillel says it's tamei. Lo nitzurcha ela l'chidisnan. Nevelas behema tamei b'chol makom. Nevela. So we'll see. It's actually very interesting. Listen to this brisa. Nevelas behema tamei b'chol makom. So we'll say the nevela of a behema is tamei everywhere. Now look at Rashi for just a moment over here. It's Rashi like across from Tosos Kigon. Like if you go across from Tosos Kigon, about 5 lines down from there. Nevelas behema b'chol makom va'afilu b'shukim sheyesh sham rov am. Well, listen to this. So apparently, people didn't commonly eat animal carcasses, right? Animals that just died on their own. People wouldn't normally eat. So therefore, again, even if you have an avelas behema tamea, right, the non-kosher animal, even in the marketplace, halacha lemaisa, or I should say, nevelas behema tamei b'chol makom. Generally, again, both I didn't have tumas ochlin unless, of course, what? Unless, of course, you had expressed kavana to eat it. The assumption was people weren't eating an animal carcass. Therefore, because of that, it only takes on food identity if you have explicit machshava to eat it. Similarly, nevelas of hatahar, if you have the carcass of a kosher bird, bikfarim, in the villages. So we'll say, interestingly enough, when it came to, if you look at Rashi, so apparently, people in larger cities would eat bird carcasses, they just wouldn't eat animal carcasses. People in villages, again, wouldn't even eat really the bird carcasses. So in these places, tzarich machshava, vein tzarich hechsher. We'll say, so therefore, again, these items, in order to make them into a food item, you need machshava. But they don't need hechsher. Hechsher means they don't need to come in contact with a liquid. Nevelas behema tahora b'chol makom. But I will say, but the carcass of a kosher animal in any place, unevelas oftar, or the carcass of a kosher bird, v'chelev b'shukim, or chelev in the marketplaces, ein tzrichin lo machshava lo hechsher. So we'll say, so apparently, so interestingly enough, kosher animal carcasses, kosher bird carcasses, apparently were consumed. And therefore, again, even in the marketplaces, even in the villages, do not require any kind of machshava, but rather are considered automatically to be food items, and they don't require hechsher. Why would I need machshava for tumakala? Why would I need machshava ultimately again to make something susceptible to tumas ochlin? He gufa tumahi. Both are tumat nevelas. So if something is an avela, then by definition it conveys a tumah chamura. Because what are we talking about? Let's just get a bit technical. We're talking about a situation where there is less than a kizayis of the nevela. And I will say what happened. So and then what did I do? I combined it with less than a kabetza of another type of food. The high v'hai havi kebetza, and I will say both of them together ultimately go ahead and form a kebetza shir. So remember again, we're therefore talking about essentially that there's not enough of an avela to convey tumah, right? An avela will only convey tumah with the kizayis. There's less than a kizayis of nevela. The nevela is combined with something else. So once it's combined with something else, if you have machshava, then that renders the item fit lekabel tumas ochlin, not tumas nevela, because there's not enough nevela. If you don't have machshava, in some of these cases, it does not contract to tumas ochlin. If that's the case, then why doesn't it require hechsher as well? The hatan Rabbi Shmuel, al kol zera zara sheizara mazra miyuchadin shein sofen l'tami tumah chamura v'tzarech hechsher. We'll say just like seeds are something that will never contract tumah chamura and therefore require hechsher. Af kol shein sofen l'tami tumah chamura tzarech hechsher. So to anything which ultimately is not going to contract tumah chamura also requires hechsher. Nevela. Aval hocha deika begave pachos mikazayis nevela. Kevan dilu mitzaref lekazayis lo by hechsher. So we'll say essentially this case is different. Why? Because ultimately, again, if this nevela has other things combined with it, where halacha l'maisa again other nevelas combined with it, where it could form a kabetza or a kazayis, then it would contract tumah chamura. Because it would contract tumah chamura, therefore again it does not require hechsher. La fuke amud beis, la fuke meis. Both say this comes to exclude a corpse. Afal gav dimemalile. Ultimately, again, even if you go to say if you go ahead and look at Rashi just a moment. Well, look at Rashi first. Rashi. Lafuke meis kilomar lachi amrina lael yotzim ahalchish time shein b'hem tumakala. Afagav demali lepachos mikabetza ochlin lepachos mikazais min ameis lamitztarif behedjla tumas ochlin the batla daitatz. Well, this is actually quite fascinating. What we're seeing over here is as follows. Salocha lemaisa. If you have less than a kizais of nevela, does it convey tumah chamura, tumas nevela? No. Right? No tumas nevela with less than a kizayis. But what can happen? If you take that less than a kizayis of nevela and you combine it with other food items, now what? Suddenly it doesn't contract tumas nevela, but with machshav it can contract what? Tumas ochlin, what we call tumakala. This is different, by the way, than when it comes ultimately again to human flesh. When it comes to human flesh, the halacha is if you have less than a kizayis of human flesh, even if you combine it with something else, and now it's more than a kabetza, that combination does not contract tumas ochlin. Why? Lo metami tumas ochlin. Why? Mishum de batla daito eitzel kol adam. Bosa batla daito eitzel kol adam means what? Means what? That halacha lemaisa, normal people don't consider human flesh food. So even if you are eating it, your das is bottled to the norm. your das is bottled to the norm. We'll say if we have time, I'll tell you an incredible vart on bottled daita eitzakal adam, only if we have time. So we'll say, so therefore again, what's coming out of here is as follows. So halacha l'maisa, what we're beginning to see about say is kind of continuing this narrative. Human blood is not subject ultimately again to the prohibition of dam. Not only that, human flesh is not subject to tumas ochlin. What if someone eats it? Mamish, someone's eating human flesh. It's ochel. What do we say? You need help, man. Right. But la daita eitzakal adam. Look, just because your shtirbos is an incredible yisod. But la daita eitzakal adam means sometimes we think that because I think something, it's correct. Chances are, if everyone else says A and you're saying B, chances are you're wrong and they're right. Right? Meaning, but there's a but ladaita etzakal, which means we live in a world of norms, right? And again, just because I say something is a certain way, or I think something is a certain way, ultimately, again, that's not the varpa, it's just the sign. Right? So, but that's I mean, even if you're eating it, that's fine. The Welt does not consider this to be a food item, and therefore halacha l'maisa. No tumas ochlin. Here we go. Rabbi Chananya Amar afilu tema davi kizayis. So even if you want to say that we're talking about going back to the nevela case, the kizayis of nevela, hachama askinon, what's the case? Interesting. You're going shechipa bebatzek. Let's say where you wrapped the nevela in dough, nevela in a blanket. Nevela in a blanket, right? Puff paste, right? So the Gemara says. So what happens over here? So the Gemara says, "Kigon shechipa bebatzek." Shabbos says, so look here, actually, just a moment. Shechipa b'batzek, it's the last of the white lines on top. Pachos mikabetza, so I have less than a kabetza of nevela. And I wrap it in this dough that ultimately goes ahead and makes it into a kabetza. Da'afa gavdu gufei tamei mahani leitzeirov tahashta lo metame b'maga damechusahu v'chamer demestarip hadibatzek l'tumas ochlan di'ika kabetza ka ochlan tamein. So again, interestingly enough, halacha l'maisa. Remember, we just said before that if you have less than a kizayis of an avela, and it combines with other food items, ultimately, again, it could form the requisite shear. So the Gemara says, "Ihachi hechsher namini boy." So if that's the case, you should require hechsher as well. Hani mili ba'ochlin achrine de lo metamelo b'magav lo b'masa. But say, when do you require hechsher? Ultimately, with other food items that do not convey tumah with maga or masa, which means touching or carrying. Aval hacha nihid lo metamel maga. We'll say in this case over here of nevela wrapped in dough, nevela in a blanket. So we'll say, so what's the halacha? With maga, it's not going to convey tumah. Why not? Why not? Because when you touch it, what are you touching? What are you touching? The dough. You're not touching the nevela itself. However, B'masa mihas litame, but ultimately again it will still convey tumos masa the lei. Ultimately again, because if you carry it, Rabbi say, remember again, tumas maga requires you to actually touch the davra hatame. Tumas masa just requires you to what? To lift it and carry it, and even if there's no direct contact. So for example, even if it was in a vela, and I wrapped it in a blanket, it doesn't have to be a food item. Halach l'maisa, if you don't touch the vela itself, there's no masa. But ultimately, again, if you carry it, there's no maga. Thank you. But if you carry it, even if there's no direct contact, halach l'maisa, that is masa. So the Gemara says. Lafuke mace. Both say this comes to exclude a case of mace. Watch this. Even if you took a piece of human flesh, right, and wrapped it in dough, mitami tuma chamura. Both say, listen to this. It still conveys tuma chamura, which is, remember, tuma chamura in this case is corpse tuma. Tumas mace. Why? Because you also remember again, corpse tuma is different. The tuma bokas va'ola bokas yarad. So also remember again, corpse tuma has this incredibly dramatic dynamic, which is the tuma goes up and the tuma goes down. So halacha l'maisa again, when it comes to tumas mace, even if halacha l'maisa it's wrapped in some type of, we'll call it, foreign material, halacha l'maisa, a person could still contract tuma relatively easily. Amar Mar, so we'll say, let's go back there. Yatzu shratzim shein b'hem tuma. So the Gemara says, remember, what did we say? That the blood of shratzim, right? If you eat the blood of a sheretz, ultimately that is not the prohibition of blood. Why not? Because in b'hem tuma, because we'll say shratzim have no tuma. Have no tuma. So the Gemara says, v'lo, is that true? V'lo, sheretz metame b'maga. That's not true. It's sheretz is metame. To which the Gemara says, you're right. It's metame b'maga, but b'masalo metame. But so when we speak about something having tuma chamura, what we're ultimately meaning is what? That has both tumas maga and masa, both by touching, contact, and carrying. A sheretz apparently only has tumas maga, does not have tumas masa. Therefore, it does not fit into the framework of dam, and therefore there's no prohibition of dam by shratzim. Amar Mar, yatsa dam dogim, dam chagavim shekula heter. So remember again, what did we say before? Excluded from the prohibition of blood are the blood of fish and the blood of grasshoppers, because they are totally permitted. My kula heter, what does that mean that they're totally permitted? Ilema dechel bo mutter, if you want to say that it's because the chelev of a fish or the chelev of a grasshopper is permitted. So one second. V'harichaya dechel bo mutter v'dama aser. But one second. Just because you have an animal whose chelev is permitted doesn't mean that halacha lemaisa, that his blood is permitted. After all, look at chaya. When it comes to a chaya, the chelev is permitted, yet the dam is prohibited. To which the Gemara says, "Elo mishum deles lebei gid iser gid hanash." It must be because dogim and chagav and fish and grasshoppers don't have a prohibition of gid hanasha, and therefore, again, if you don't have gid hanasha, you're not subject to the prohibition of dam. One second. V'hare of deles bei iser gid hanasha v'dama aser. But that's not true either. Birds don't have an isra of gid hanasha, yet what? There is still an isra of dam. Ella mai kula heter. Rather, what does it mean when we say dagim and chagavim are totally permitted? Delo by shchita. Ultimately, again, because they're not in the family of shchita, right? Remember, again, you could eat a live fish if you want to, right? Or grasshoppers for that matter. But halacha l'maisa, because they're not in the parsha of shchita, therefore halacha l'maisa, again, they're excluded from the prohibition of dam as well. So we'll say, well, essentially what we're saying over here is that since they don't fit into the construct of the rest of the animals prohibited by dam, right? They have a prohibition of dam, and i.e. because the other animals all share this commonality. We'll say, not that they require shchita per se, but that some of them you can't eat without shchita, but even the ones that are not kosher altogether, shchita has an impact on their status. Remember, we're going to both say, even take a chazer for just a moment, right? If you shech the chazer, right, then ultimately, again, it may not convey tumas nevela. If it dies by itself, it does convey tumas. See, even non-kosher animals, shchita ultimately, again, could have an impact. Masha'enke dagim and chagavim, shchita has no impact. Therefore, again, not subject to blood. Not subject to the prohibition of blood. So Amar Mar, Ma Of Shein Bo Kelaim Af Behemos. Let's remember again, we said before that the reason the pasuk had to include both Of and Behema is because had it said Of, I would have thought just like Of is not subject to Kilayim, so too only a Behema that is not subject to Kilayim is subject to the prohibition of Dam. So the Gemara says, Tamalom Behema, Kilayim Demai. What do you mean when you say that a bird is not subject to Kilayim? If you want to say that it's talking about crossbreeding, so both say ukilaim decharisha, or for that matter, again, both say the halach is kilaim decharisha means, right? For example, you can't plow your field with an ox and a donkey together. So there could be kilaim with interbreeding. There's also kilaim with plowing your field with two different animals. So if you want to say that birds aren't subject to that, right? Ultimately, again, Chaya and Of are subject to the laws of Kain. Both say you can't cross-breed birds. And again, I don't know exactly how this works, but you couldn't halacha lemaisa plow your field with a bird and an animal, or two different birds as well. So you see that halacha lemaisa, birds are subject to the laws of Kilayim. To which the Gemara says, both say very interesting. The feathers of a bird are not subject to kilayim. So we'll say masha'ing is referring to shatnez, right? Remember again, I can't take different types. If you look at Rashi for just a moment, Rashi says over here, no. So again, so halacha l'maisa, what it's saying is the feathers of a bird are not subject to any type of kilayim. Good. Amar Rav Yehuda Rav. Both say, listen to this. Dam shratzim lo kan alav b'kizayis. If you eat the dam of shratzim, right, and you eat a kizayis of it, you're going to get malchus. Wow. So we'll say, so here's the kasha. Meisvei, dama tochol, dama leiv, dama kalayis, dama ivarim, hare ilu below sase. We'll say, so let's analyze this. Now we're going to open up an incredibly new front. So watch this. So now you have Rav saying that if you eat the dam of shratzim, eat a kizayis worth of dam, you're going to get malchus. Let's analyze this. Brisa says, if you eat dam tochol, blood of the spleen, blood of the heart, blood of the kidneys, blood of the limbs, hare'ilu below sase. We'll say, if you consume any of these types of blood, so halacha l'maisa, you're in violation of a lav, malchus. Dam mahal chishtayim, if you eat human blood, dam shratzim v'ramasim, if you eat the blood of dam shratzim, amasim aser, it is aser, ve'in chayav and alav, and you're not chayiv at all. So we'll say, so what that sounds like is what? What it sounds like is, what do you mean it's aser? Midrabanan. Midrabanan. We'll say, why would human blood and blood of shratzim and ramasim be aser midrabanan? So Rashi says, the michlaf b'dam behima, v'aro omer muter le'achol dam. We'll say, because there's a concern of what? Marasayin. If you're walking around eating human blood all day, or dam of shratzim and ramasim all day, people don't know that it's human blood. They don't know that it's shratzim and ramasim. They could just as easily assume that it's what? Dam behema, and think that dam behema. So we'll say, so what do you see from here? You see from here that halacha l'maisa, human blood, and dam shratzim is asr midrabanan because of maris ayin, but not even asr midaraisa. So 1 second. How does that stem with the fact that we just said before that if you eat a kizayis of dam shratzim, you get malchus? Well, so when do you get malchus or something? Presumably, if it's an isur d'oraisa, to which the Gemara says, "My ein chayav and alav kares." What it means is you're not chayav on it for kares, rather alav mechayiv. Ultimately, again, but you would be chayiv for alav. So we'll say what the Gemara is suggesting over here is that maybe when it says that human blood and dam shratzim, that it's asr, but you're not chayiv, maybe chayiv means not chayiv kares, but maybe it really is punishable by alav. Says the Gemara, then the Brisa doesn't read well. Chada hainu reisha. If that's the case, then why don't you group human blood and dam shratzim with the first part of the Brisa? Because the first part of the Brisa was spleen blood, heart blood, kidney blood, limb blood, those are all different types of blood where there's no Isser Kares, but there is an Isser Da'oraisa, there's a lav. So if you're telling me now that human blood and Shratzim and Ramasim blood also is a lav Da'oraisa, then why are you breaking them off from the first cohort? Include them with the first group. Chada Hanuresha Va'od, Tana milav nami kamemaitle. Furthermore, I'm going to both say it's clear from the Sefer that's what? That human blood and blood of shratzim and ramasim is being excluded even from a lav diktani. Yotza dam shratzim shein bahem tumah chamura. We're coming to exclude dam shratzim because it doesn't have tumah chamura. Amrav Zeira hisrua mishum sheretz loke mishum dam eino loke. Oh, both say what it means is like this. If you eat a kizayis of sheretz blood, you're chayiv. It's true. What are you chayiv for? What are you chayiv for? Sheretz consumption, not blood consumption. As Rabbi say, by a sheretz, there's no distinction between the blood and the rest of the sheretz body. It's all called what? It's all called what? It's all called sheretz. So if somebody ate a kizayis of sheretz, what the Brisa is coming to teach me is, if you ate a kizayis of sheretz blood, then halacha l'maisa, you are chayiv for sheretz consumption, but not for blood consumption. Rabbi says, let's just go a little bit weiter. Amarav, dam is very interesting. Dam dogim shekin so. Rabbi says, what we've established is fish blood is not subject to any type of prohibition either, right? Dam dogim is totally permitted. So Rabbi says, what we've established so far is dam shratzim totally permitted. Let me say that differently. Dam shratzim totally asur, right? But what? Asur als sheretz, not asur als dam. Okay, dam dogim sounds like totally permitted. But now Rav gives an important qualification. Dam dogim shakinsu aser. Well, so listen to this. If you filled up a bowl with fish blood, that is aser. That is aser. So we'll say, look at Rashi, aser, the michlaf bedam behema varo omer muter lechol dam. We'll say there's a marasayan issue over here. Marasayan issue. If you have a bowl of blood, right, no one's going to know where that blood came from. People are going to assume that it's just as easily animal blood like it is anything else. And if they see you eating it, they're going to have a misunderstanding that blood is permitted. Meisvei dam dogim dam chagavim mutar afilu lechatchila. But 1 second, but the Brisa says that fish blood, grasshopper blood is mutar even lechatchila. You're right. Hahi bishalo kinso. That's when what? When you didn't gather it together in a bowl, right? If you gathered it together in a bowl, then we have a marasayan issue. Ki ka'amarab b'shekinsu. We'll say, watch this. This is incredible. With this will end. Dikavose gabi mahal chishayin. Also, we find the same dynamic by human blood. Bishalo kinso mi aser. We'll say, when human blood is not gathered, is it aser? V'hatanya. We'll say, listen to this. Da'am shal gabi kikar. We'll say, listen to this. This is very halacha l'maisa case. I bite into a piece of bread, and what happens? There's blood on the bread. Some of the blood from my gums, right, got onto the bread. From my tooth got onto the bread. So what's the halacha? See for us, it's like a non-shaila. Throw it out. So understand, okay, it wasn't always a disposable society. So you have to know, what can I do with the bread? What can't I do with the bread? Dam shal gabi kigar, gorero va'ochlo. Halacha, what do? You scrape off the blood, and you could eat the rest of the bread. Bein hashinayim, what if there's blood inside your mouth, in your teeth? Motzitzo ubolo, it's okay, you could swallow your own blood. Ve'ino choshesh, and ultimately, again, you don't have to be choshesh. So we'll say, so again, why is this important? What is this saying? Human blood is mutter, right? Mutter for consumption. But as we're going to see, there's an issur d'Rabbanan. You're not allowed to eat human blood when it's detached from your body. So if there is blood on the piece of bread, so now it's my blood, but Allah says out of my body, as much as there is no issur to go ahead and consume human blood at all, there is an issur d'Rabbanan when it's detached from your body, alts maris ayin. So we'll say, where does this come up? Right, I get a cut. Right, often the natural human tendency is put it in your mouth. So Allah l'maisa, that's permitted. That's permitted. Why? Because that blood is still on my guf. So as long as the blood is in or on my guf, there is no problem, quote unquote, with ingesting that blood. And in fact, again, that's the Shulchan Aruch. Dam Adam. This is Shulchan Aruch in Yeridea. Hilchos dam, simin samech vav sif yud. Dam adam, human blood, impirshu mimenu asr mishum marasayim. If the human blood becomes detached from you, it is asr because of marasayim. So also you can't eat your own blood once it's become detached from your body. Lefichach im nash. But again, I want to point out, not doraisa, not even it's a d'Rabbanan because of marasayim. Because if people see you eating blood, what's the concern? Is that human blood? Is that animal blood? So therefore, again, lefichach im nashach hakikar b'shina v'yatza dam mishina v'al gabe higar. Therefore, if you bit into a piece of bread or an apple or anything else, and there's blood there, and it's my blood, what's the halacha? Tzarich legoro. You have to scrape it away. Aval shebein hashinayim motzitzo. But halacha l'maisa, again, if it's between your teeth, ultimately, again, you could just ingest it. So we'll say to the Gemara in Zav, kitanya him masnisa the ispe kashkashim ki kamarav v'laspe kashkashim. So we'll say same thing with fish blood. When it comes to fish blood, what's the halacha? Fish blood is totally permitted, except when it is in a bowl, right? When it's gathered, because there's an issue of maris ayin. If you want to drink fish blood from a bowl, how do you take care of the maris ayin issue? It's good to know. Keep the scales on the side of the bowl. If the scales are there, then what? That's a clear simon, a clear indication, ultimately, again, that it's fish blood and there's no marasay. And I will say the Shulchan Aruch codifies this as well. Dam dogim, when it comes to fish blood, afa pishu mutter, even though it's mutter, im kabtsubikli aser. If you gather it in a utensil, it is aser. Why? Mishum marasayin. So we're saying again, however, lefichach, im nikar shumi dogim, if it's clear that it's fish blood, kigon shiishbo kaskasim, for example, it has the scales there, then it is mutter. Therefore, that's how the Gemara ends off by saying it. The Gemara says, kitayim as these in the isbei kashkashim. When did the Mishnah say that fish blood is totally permitted, even if gathered in a bowl? That's when you left the scales there. Ki kamarav da aser. When did Rav say that fish blood in a bowl is going to be aser? The last kashkashim, where ultimately, again, you didn't leave the scales, and therefore there's an issue of marasai. So we'll say, bottom line for our purposes today, halacha l'maisa, dam shratzim, totally permitted. Except halacha l'maisa, it doesn't really make such a big difference because the dam is permitted, but what? It's considered like sheretz. Mahal cheshtayim, human blood, permitted, except when? When it's detached from the body because of marasayim. Dam dogim, totally permitted, except when gathered in a bowl. But even if you need your fish, your bowl of fish blood fix, no problem. Just leave the scales on the side, and we are good to go. Klalu pratu klal. 4 criteria for ultimately, again, creating an isra of dam. Number 1, tuma chamura. Number 2, tuma kala. Number 3, isra veheter. And number 4, min basar. Right? We'll continue it tomorrow.